Hello everyone! This video was delayed due to the total failure of my main laptop and having to transfer everything over to my backup. Compromises to the video quality had to be made in order for their continuation, but this is only temporary. For this video, I will be covering the top 10 best-selling games for the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. The Super NES is Nintendo's second programmable home console, following the Nintendo Entertainment System. The console introduced advanced graphics and sound capabilities compared with other systems at the time, like the Sega Genesis. It was designed to accommodate the ongoing development of a variety of enhancement chips integrated into game cartridges to be more competitive into the next generation. The Super NES received largely positive reviews and was a global success, becoming the best-selling console of the 16-bit era after launching relatively late and facing intense competition from Sega's Genesis console in North America and Europe. The Super NES remained popular well into the 32-bit era, with 49.1 million units sold worldwide by the time it was discontinued in 2003. Star Fox, known as Starwing in PAL regions, is a 1993 rail shooter game inspired by Star Wars, developed by Nintendo and Argonaut Software, and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The first entry in the Star Fox series, the story follows Fox McCloud and the rest of the Star Fox team defending their homeworld of Corneria against the invading forces of Andros. Star Fox was the second 3D Nintendo game after X for the Game Boy in 1992, and the first Nintendo game to use polygonal graphics, achieved with the Super FX graphics chip included in the cartridge. The complex display of three-dimensional models with polygons was uncommon in console games. Star Fox received critical acclaim and is often considered one of the greatest video games of all time. It sold more than 4 million copies and established the Star Fox series as a flagship Nintendo franchise. Street Fighter II Turbo was released between July and October of 1993 for the Super Famicom and Super Nintendo. The port was developed using the SNES port of the original Street Fighter II as its base, but with a larger cartridge size of 20 megabits. Despite being titled Turbo, this port also contains the Champion Edition version of the game in the form of a normal mode. The game's playing speed is adjustable in turbo mode by up to 4 settings by default. The graphics of each character's ending were changed to make them more accurate to the arcade version. Sound effects featuring people or animals shouting after a round ended were added as well, an aesthetic element that was not present in the arcade version of Turbo, but rather was added in Super Street Fighter II. This port of the game sold a total of 4.1 million copies worldwide. Super Mario World. 2 Yoshi's Island is a 1995 platform game developed and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. The player controls Yoshi, a friendly dinosaur, on a quest to reunite baby Mario with his brother Luigi, who has been kidnapped by Kamek. Yoshi runs and jumps to reach the end of the level while solving puzzles and collecting items with Mario's help. The marker-drawn art style was created by scanning hand-drawn pictures and approximating them pixel by pixel. Some special effects were powered by a new Super FX 2 microchip. Yoshi's Island was released between August and October in 1995 and sold over 4.12 million copies worldwide. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is an action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. It is the third game in the Legend of Zelda series and was released in 1991. The story is set many years before the events of the first two Zelda games. The player assumes the role of Link as he journeys to save Hyrule, defeat the Demon King Ganon, and rescue the descendants of the Seven Sages. It returns to a top-down perspective similar to the original The Legend of Zelda, dropping the side-scrolling gameplay of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. It introduced series staples such as parallel worlds and items including the Master Sword. A Link to the Past is widely considered among the greatest video games ever made, with particular praise for its presentation and innovative gameplay, and has sold over 4.61 million copies worldwide. Donkey Kong Country 2: Diddy's Kong Quest is a 1995 platform game developed by Rare and published by Nintendo. It was released between November and December of 1995. It is the second installment of the Donkey Kong Country series and the sequel to Donkey Kong Country. The game uses the same Silicon Graphics SGI technology from the original, which features the use of pre-rendered 3D imagery. Diddy's Kong Quest received acclaim, being widely regarded as one of the greatest 2D platformers ever made. Praise was directed at its graphics, gameplay, and soundtrack. It was the second best-selling game of 1995 and sold over 5.15 million copies worldwide.
Round one, fight!
Street Fighter II, the World Warrior known in some regions as simply Street Fighter II, is a 1991 fighting game developed and published by Capcom for arcades. It is the second installment in the Street Fighter series and the sequel to 1987's Street Fighter. The Super Nintendo and Super Famicom ports were published by Capcom in Japan and North America and published by Bandai in Europe. Street Fighter II is regarded as one of the greatest video games of all time and the most important and influential fighting game ever made. Its launch is seen as a revolutionary moment within its genre, credited with popularizing the fighting genre during the 1990s and inspiring other producers to create their own fighting series. More than 6.3 million SNES cartridges of Street Fighter II were sold, making it Capcom's best-selling single software game for the next 2 decades. Its best-selling game on a single platform and the highest-selling third-party game on the SNES. Super Mario Kart is a kart racing game developed and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. It was the first game of the Mario Kart series and was released in 1992 and sold a total of 8.76 million copies. Super Mario Kart received positive reviews and was praised for its presentation, innovation, and use of Mode 7 graphics. The game is seen as having been key to expanding the Mario series into non-platforming games. This diversity has led to it becoming the best-selling game franchise of all time. Several sequels to Super Mario Kart have been released for consoles, handhelds, and in arcades, each enjoying critical and commercial success. While some elements have developed throughout the series, The core experience from Super Mario Kart has remained intact. Donkey Kong Country is a 1994 platform game developed by Rare and published by Nintendo. It is a reboot of Nintendo's Donkey Kong franchise and follows the gorilla Donkey Kong and his nephew Diddy Kong as they set out to recover their stolen banana hoard from the crocodile King K. Rool and his army, the Kremlings. Donkey Kong Country was inspired by the Super Mario series and was one of the first home console games to feature pre-rendered graphics, achieved through a compression technique that converted 3D models into SNES sprites with little loss of detail. It was the first Donkey Kong game neither produced nor directed by the franchise's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, though he contributed design ideas. A total of 9.3 million copies were sold worldwide. Super Mario All-Stars is a 1993 updated compilation of platform games featuring the main Super Mario Bros. Trilogy and the Japanese exclusive title, named as the Lost Levels from the 8-bit Nintendo Entertainment System and Famicom systems. The remakes feature updated graphics, including the addition of parallax scrolling, and music, modified game physics, a save feature, and bug fixes. The developers based the updated designs on those from Super Mario World and strove to retain the feel of the original games. Nintendo released Super Mario All-Stars worldwide in late 1993 and re-released it in 1994 with Super Mario World included. Super Mario All-Stars is one of the best-selling Super Mario games, with 10.55 million copies sold. Critics considered it one of the best SNES games and praised the updated graphics and music, but criticised its lack of innovation. Super Mario World, known in Japan as Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. 4, is a 1990 platform game developed and published by Nintendo. The gameplay is similar to that of earlier Super Mario games. Players control Mario through a series of levels in which the goal is to reach the goalpost at the end. Super Mario World introduces Yoshi, a rideable dinosaur who can eat enemies and spit some of them out as projectiles. It is the first Mario game for the SNES and was designed to make the most of the console's technical features. The development team had more freedom compared to the series installments for the NES. Yoshi was conceptualized during the development of the NES games, but was not used until Super Mario World due to hardware limitations. Super Mario World is often considered one of the best games in the series, and is cited as one of the greatest video games ever made. It sold more than 20.6 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling SNES game. That's the end of today's video. If you have made it this far, then I sincerely thank you for putting up with me. I have enjoyed playing many games for the SNES throughout my youth. I had one for Christmas in 1993 with the Super Mario All-Stars bundle as well as the Super Scope with the 6-game cartridge. Mario All-Stars was my favourite, but I did enjoy many other games that I had bought over the years. I will keep releasing videos out on a weekly basis, but sometimes I may drop an extra one from time to time. YouTube algorithms are not going in my favour, and I ask that you leave this video a like, then subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for all notifications. I would like to reach 100 subscribers this year, and if this happens, I will do a special video with the top 50 best-selling consoles of all time. I would also like to hear from you. If there are any classic or retro game you would like me to try out and review, then leave a comment and I would be happy to try that game out. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Here are some suggestions for some of my previous videos, and I will be releasing some new ones soon.